Something unusual is happening across Africa, quietly, strategically. The wealthy are buying land. Not only politicians, not only developers. Bankers are doing it, industrialists are doing it, family offices are doing it, foreign investors are doing it, and increasingly, young African professionals are doing it too, not because land is fashionable again, but because the smartest money on the continent believes something fundamental is changing. For almost 2 decades, the story of wealth was dominated by technology, apps, startups, crypto, digital finance, fast money. And for a while, that story worked. Technology created enormous fortunes across the world. But then the world became unstable again. Inflation returned, supply chains fractured, food prices surged, currencies weakened. Wars disrupted trade routes, and suddenly, people remembered something ancient. Real wealth is often connected to real assets. Assets you can stand on, control, protect, and pass to the next generation. Many wealthy Africans have already lived through multiple financial shocks. They watched the Nigerian naira lose massive value. They watched currencies weaken across emerging markets. They watched governments change tax laws overnight. They watched fortunes disappear inside stocks, speculative schemes, and over-leveraged businesses. And somewhere along the way, they remembered something their grandparents already understood. You cannot print land, you cannot delete it from a server. You cannot wake up one morning and discover it lost 40% of its value because someone in another continent adjusted interest rates. Land sits, it waits, and over decades, civilizations move toward it. Africa's population is projected to approach roughly 2.5 billion people by 2050. That means nearly 1 out of every 4 humans on Earth could be African. Think carefully about what that actually means. More housing, more roads, more schools, more warehouses, more electricity demand, more water demand, more supermarkets, more ports, more hospitals, more logistics infrastructure. And all of it sits on one thing: land. Lagos is projected to become one of the largest urban centers in human history. Nairobi continues expanding outward at astonishing speed. Kampala, Kigali, Dar es Salaam, Addis Ababa, Kinshasa, Abidjan. Entire urban corridors are quietly forming across the continent, and smart money sees the pattern early, because the greatest fortunes are often built before the crowd fully understands what is happening, not after. This is why wealthy families think differently about time. Average investors often chase trends. Wealthy families frequently accumulate strategic assets slowly, quietly, patiently, especially land, because land is not only about resale value, it is about positioning, control, optionality, future influence. A piece of land near a future highway can become a logistics hub. Agricultural land near water can become a food production empire. Land near expanding cities can become housing developments, industrial parks, schools, or retail centers. What looks empty today may become economically critical tomorrow. And this is especially true in Africa because much of the continent is still early in its infrastructure and urbanization cycle. But the serious investors are not only buying land, they are buying access to water, access to transport corridors, access to future growth. Ask a sophisticated buyer in places like Nanyuki, Naivasha, or the outskirts of Nairobi what they truly purchased, and the answer is rarely just acreage. They bought proximity to future infrastructure. They bought strategic geography. They bought scarcity before scarcity becomes obvious. Because in the 21st century, the people who control food, water, energy, and logistics may quietly control everything else. A logistics yard near a major port is not just land, it is a toll gate on future trade. A productive farm is not just agriculture, it is protection against future food inflation. A large parcel near a growing city is not just property, it may become an entire future neighborhood. This is how strategic investors think, not in months, not even in years, but in decades. And yet, for all the opportunity, land in Africa is not a simple investment. Titles can be disputed, boundaries challenged, families fight over inheritance. Governments sometimes change regulations unexpectedly. Infrastructure projects can alter valuations overnight. The sophisticated investors understand this. That is why they do not merely buy land, they buy legally protected positions, lien titles, structured ownership, professional due diligence, holding companies, trusts, succession planning. The amateurs buy plots, the professionals build systems around strategic assets. That is the real difference. But beneath all the financial logic, there is also something deeply psychological happening. Talk to people who have built real wealth across Africa, and eventually their tone changes when they speak about land. Because land feels different, it feels permanent. In a world where everything is becoming digital, temporary, and abstract, land still feels real. You can walk on it, touch it, stand on it with your children. And perhaps that is why wealthy families continue buying it generation after generation, not only for returns, but for permanence, identity, legacy. There is now a quiet thesis spreading across the continent that Africa's next great fortunes may not be built only on apps, trading, or speculation. They may be anchored on real assets. Because the population is coming, the cities are coming, the demand is coming, food demand, housing demand, water demand, logistics demand, energy demand, and all of it must sit somewhere. That is why the smartest money is moving quietly, not loudly, not on social media, not in interviews, in silence, through holding companies, through trusts, through patient acquisitions nobody notices. Because the loudest money is rarely the smartest money, and the smartest money already understands something most people still do not. In 50 years, the businesses may change, currencies may change, governments may change, technology may change, but the land will still be there, and someone's grandchildren will still own it.